Hello everybody. I am Dr. Neeta Chavan from Bharati Vidyapeeth's Homeopathic Medical College from the Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology. Today we are going to see medico-legal autopsy. So that is postmortem examination. So today we will see its part 1. There are different parts in which we have distributed all the autopsy details. So today we are going to see only the part 1. Medico-legal autopsy. So medico-legal autopsy, or it is also known as postmortem examination, it is a special type of systemic examination of dead body carried out under the laws of the state for the protection of its citizens and to assist the identification and prosecution of the guilty. So that means whose are the guilty, they should get the punished, and those who are non-guilty, they should get escape from all these things. Now the postmortem. Postmortem, so that is the examination is done meaning after death. So it may refer to in a science an examination and dissection of a dead body or the corpus to determine the cause of death or the changes produced by the disease. To find out the cause of death. So there are certain objectives for doing the autopsy. So these objectives are to find out the cause of the death, to ascertain whether the death is natural or unnatural. First we have to see the death which has occurred, whether it is a natural or unnatural. If it is natural, then we have to see whether the death is homicidal, suicidal or accidental. Then to ascertain the time passed since death. Then to establish the identity of the body. To identify the weapon, person or a poison which is responsible for the death. Then whether the stillbirth or live birth of newly born infant. There are certain requirements of the postmortem examination. So which are those requirements? So first we have to see there should be a written order from the police officer for performing the autopsy. We should get some order first. Then the daytime, usually the autopsy is done in a daytime, or there should be an adequate artificial light should be there. Then it is performed by the RMP. RMP is registered medical practitioner with experience in a forensic medicine. He should be expert in forensic medicine. So and so only he can be able to know which are the things should be collect, how to examine, and which things should be examined in a detail. So for that purpose, the person who is performing autopsy, he should be registered medical practitioner and having experience in a forensic science or the forensic medicine. Place where the autopsy should be performed, it should be performed in a hospital. Then the identity of the deceased is to be established. Then the 3 major cavities should be open. So those 3 cavities are as a cranial cavity, thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. Then the examination should be done in a meticulous way and in a complete form. All the details should be examined and it should be complete in a one time only. That examination or the autopsy should be performed at a one straight time. Then the writing of the postmortem report on the spot. It should be written. Whatever the findings you are getting, positive as well as the negative findings, it should be mentioned in that report that time only. Then there are certain precautions to be taken for the medico-legal autopsy. These precautions are as authorization, identification, visit to scene of a crime, history of a case, verification of the injuries noted by the police, then the examination, notes, preservation of viscera and other tissues, list of articles and chain of evidence. So these are the precautions should be taken for the performing medico-legal autopsy. So we will go in a detail of each point. So first it is authorization. So whenever the dead body is sent for the autopsy, so it is always accompanied by, first it is dead body challan, inquest report and FIR. So that dead body challan, that means it is a requisition submitted by the police officer to the medical officer while handing over the body for the autopsy. So these are the certain documents which should be submitted by that police officer who is carrying the dead body. He should be given that documents along with the dead body to the concerned medical officer. That document contains name, age, sex, religion, then the suspected cause of death, purpose of the autopsy, so that means why it is required to perform the autopsy, the place and the distance from where that body has come. So these details should be written in their documents. The next one, it is the inquest report should be there. It is also known as a Panchanama report. So it should contain the available history of a case. So how the body was found, where the body is found, in which condition it was found, and who has seen that first that body, and the opinion of witnesses, that means who have seen that body, according to them what will be the cause of death. It is a expected cause of death, or according to their thinking what will be the cause. So that should be written in that inquest report. And the FIR, so that is the first information report. All these three parts should be carried, and it is known as a authorization. Then the second part, that is the identification. So the body of the deceased should be identified by the police constable who brought it, and by the relatives in presence of the medical officer, who should make a note of the names and addresses. So that means that when the police officer brings that dead body for the autopsy, that medical officer should identify or should cross check what are the details written on that dead body challan that matches with that dead body or not. So it should not be get misplaced, or it should not be get misdiagnosed, or the some other body should not be get carried out. That should be identified or cross checked by the medical officer in presence of that police constable, as well as in presence of, if the relatives are there, he should again make the note of it, and he should write the names and the address who identifies that body. Then in all the cases, especially in case of unknown bodies, it is necessary to note all the particulars which helps to establish the identity, such as race, religion, sex, age, social status, height, weight, and dental formula, etc. So that medical officer should also examine the details with respect to identify that body, the race, the religion, sex, age, and the social status. Social status can be identified with the help of approximately with the help of the clothes that person wear, then whether there are any jewelry or any articles present on that person's body, then his dental status, etc. Accordingly, the person can estimate roughly the social status of that person. Then the next, it is visit to the scene of a crime. So visit to the scene of a crime. A crime scene visit is worth undertaking when the scene exists. So usually that medical officer should arrange the visit to the scene of a crime. If possible, he can arrange a visit to go where the actual crime has occurred, or where the actually incidences occurred. If it is due to the pressure work or any hour of the day, distance, etc., the medical officer is not able to visit the crime scene, a written report of the crime scene evaluation by a forensically trained investigator is very helpful. The position of the body when found, its relationship to the surrounding objects, the presence and position of the weapons, then the blood stain, if any, or any other stains if there are present, and the marks of struggle should be noted. If the forensic expert or the forensic investigator goes there, and if he examines that area or the crime scene, then he should note all the details, whether he is able to find out the any weapon over there, any stains, or any other struggle marks. Then it should be noted. Either he, if possible, he should take the photographs of it. If it is not possible, the photography facility, then he should make a sketch or the drawing he should make, and it should be noted. In the process of removal of the body to the mortuary, fresh abrasions may be produced, so it should be considered. Then the rigor mortis may be broken down by the least partially. Then next, it is the history of a case. So history of a case, a medical officer should obtain all the available details of the case, so that he can take a special care to examine a particular body part, that is the neck in case of a asphyxial death. So when that medical officer performs the autopsy, so while taking that body, he should know all the in general the history of that case. So we have seen that in a Panchanama report a short history is there, so that medical officer should go through it and he can get the idea about which body part should be examined carefully or which were the probable cause of death. So he should concentrate on that part. So for example, he should concentrate in a neck. So where if it is the case of a asphyxial death, then he should concentrate on a uterus and the fallopian tubes. If it is a case of a abortion, then he should examine whether there is any needle mark on a body. So if it is a case of a injection of any poison. Then next it is the verification of injuries. So while handing over the body by the police officer, so there are possibilities that certain injuries are noted by this police officer. So the medical officer should verify whatever the injuries are there noted. So he should verified that injuries. So the injuries recorded in the inquest report, it must be verified. So postmortem changes or the injuries may have been misinterpreted as a antemortem injuries. So that is, there may be a postmortem lividity, it may be mistaken for the bruise, or putrefactory blisters under the skin, it may be mistaken for the burnt areas. Then the postmortem ant bite, it marks for the antemortem abrasion. So these are the misconceptions. So these injuries should be verification must be done. Then it is not commonly realized that the skin and the most body soft tissues tends to get darkened as they becomes dry. So thus our 1/4 inch diameter circular abrasion on a child may be mistaken for the cigarette burn. Then there should be examination should be done. So when you get the body for the autopsy, when a medical legal autopsy is being performed, those who are not officially concerned with that case or that investigation, he should not be allowed to enter in that autopsy room. Only the person who is performing medical legal autopsy and his assistant should be there. No other person should be allowed to enter. Then the examination should be a thorough and complete as the circumstances permit, because the obvious cause of the death may not be the real cause of death. So coincident disease, it may contributory to the cause of death, may be found in more than one organ. So all the thorough meticulous detailed examination should be done. So not only just leave one, if you get one cause of the death in one organ and just leaving that body, it is not advisable. You have to complete the autopsy of each and all the organs and find out whether there are any other contributory cause of death may be there. So you have to examine that in a detail. Then the special care should be taken if the body is believed to be of suffering from the hepatitis B positive or HIV infected body. So usually HIV infected in cases of a male homosexuals or the intravenous drug abuser or the hemophilic treated with the repeated blood transfusion, then female prostitute and the victim of sex abuse. In such cases, if you are knowing that body is HIV infected, a special care should be taken while performing the autopsy. Or there is a suspicion of poisoning from cyanide or the organophosphorus compounds. In such conditions also, a body should be examined in a certain precautions. Then next it is the notes. In absence of the photographic facilities, diagrammatic presentation or the sketch of all the injuries should be done. Details of all the positive findings must be noted. So while performing the autopsy, if the photographic facility is there, the person or that medical officer should take the detailed photographs of that positive findings. If the photographic facility is not there, then the assistant or the performing person should make the diagrammatic presentation, or he should make the sketch of all the injuries which are here finding. Then it should be done, and he should write all the positive findings as well as the negative findings should be noted. So these are the findings which are here findings, so these are the positive findings, and these such and such things are not there, that are the negative findings that should be mentioned. The notes forms the base of the written report. These notes will help to write the postmortem examination report. So these notes must be in a meticulous details and it can be referred to when giving the evidence. So these notes are also helpful if that person or the medical officer is asked to give the evidence in a court of law. So nothing should be erased from the notes. So once you are writing that notes, it should be in a one-stroke way. Nothing should be erased. If anything goes on writing, if something occurs wrong, just cut it. So just make a line for the cutting and write next. So usually nothing should be erased from the notes and all the alterations should be initialized. Then while one is working with both the hands, a small pocket tape recorder may be found very valuable for recording the notes. Next one, it is the preservation of viscera and other tissues. So while performing the autopsy, or the postmortem examination, when you opens the body, the certain viscera or the body parts, they should be examined, and that viscera should be preserved for the chemical analysis. So especially when you will preserve that viscera, so when the investigating officer is asked for, if that that police officer asks you that he is suspecting the cause of death because of XYZ injury or XYZ poisoning, in such conditions, if that police officer asks to preserve such and such viscera, so because of his request, that organs or that viscera should be preserved for the chemical analysis and for the further investigations. When the medical officer himself suspects the presence of a poison while performing the autopsy because of that poison smell or some other evidence if he is getting while conducting the autopsy or any injury cases, then that viscera or the tissue should be preserved. When drug overdoses or the abuse is suspected or any toxicological analysis can provide the valuable information about the lifestyle and the mental and physical health of the unidentified person. In such conditions, the viscera and the other tissues should be preserved. Then the list of articles. So list of articles, it should be made of all the articles removed from the body, clothes, jewelry, bullets, etc. So that means when the body has come for performing the autopsy, so when the body is came for the autopsy, when that medical officer receives the body, from that moment till he handle over that body again to the police constable, during that period whatever the articles he are finding on that body, what are the procedure he has performed, and which are the viscera or the organs he has taken out in how much quantity for the chemical analysis, it should be written or documented. A list should be made of all the articles removed from the body, that means all the clothes. So that means which are the clothes are removed from that body. It may give idea about the social status of that person, or it may give some incidents about at the time of that person's death. So those clothes, then his undergarments, then if the jewelry is there on that person's body, jewelry like any bracelets or any necklace or any watch, rings, earrings, etc. All the jewelry he should be removed. So which are the jewelry he removed from that person's body, all those should be kept in a separate container, sealed and labeled, and on that he should mention the date and time of that removing of that articles. And if he finds any bullet on that body, again that should be collected and it should be sealed and mentioned about it. Then when the person collects all those articles, they should be labeled, sealed and mentioned in the report. So when the medical officer gives the autopsy report or the postmortem examination report and handed over it to the police constable, after completion of the postmortem examination, he should hand over that all the articles along with the documented list. One documented list should be along with that medical officer, and he should take the receipt from that constable. After obtaining the receipt, while handing over the body, after the postmortem examination is complete. Next, it is the chain of evidence. So chain of evidence, it is absolutely essential to preserve the chain of evidence from the identification of the body. That means when that medical officer receives the body from the police constable or the police officer, in that inquest report and in a dead body challan, he is getting all the details about that body and the short history case about that dead bodies. So all those details from the identification and till he is returning that body after completion of the postmortem examination. So all those details should be maintained and preserved as a chain of evidence from the identification of the body, then maintaining the absolute control of the specimen removed at the time of the autopsy. So he should write down what are the findings he is getting, which are the articles he removed, which are the external examination finding that person is getting, then which are the internal organs he suspect. These are the required for the chemical analysis, how much quantity, which are the organs he removed from that body. It should be recorded and documented. Then how he dispatched or how he sent that organs for the chemical analysis to the appropriate laboratory. All those things should be recorded, and that is also known as a chain of evidence. That means from receiving the body till he is again handing over that dead body for the to the police constable or to the concerned person. So that is the requirements for the medico legal autopsy. So here we are ending. Then next we will see the second part of medico legal autopsy, that is how the examination should be done. Thank you.